All right, so I did these deadlifts on Monday, and I am pretty happy with how they went. A couple things I can work on is leg drive. I also think my right knee is caving in a little bit. Uh, it's hard to tell from this angle. Next week I'll film from the front. Here's some block pulls. I'm subscribing to the notion that Dan Green has spoken about, where block pull is more for positioning off the floor, because I'm actually worse at block pulls than I am off the floor, and I think that's because I can't generate enough tightness in my midsection. So something to work on, because obviously I should be stronger at a block pull than I am off the floor. So working on getting tight. Uh, these I am not happy with. This is that's 8 pause squats here. I was very disappointed with this. Butt wink is super bad. Let's see here. I'm trying to work on my pre-hinge as well a little bit. Yeah, so bar pass, that's a that's terrible. Uh, I'm way stuck out forward here, which isn't too bad, but I'm not actually shooting my butt back. I'm just leaning over. Um, and then yeah, my hips are curling under. It's just ugly. I was very disappointed when I saw this video. Um, but something to work on. And then here comes my usual problem, which is hips shoot up before my shoulders. That's just an ongoing battle. Part of it's weak quads. Part of it, I think, is just tightness and confidence and staying in my legs. Here's some close grip. This was on Tuesday. This up until recently was my quote unquote competition grip. No, not quote unquote. I did compete using this grip. I've since widened it about an inch, so pinkies are on the rings now. The reason I switched, I was noticing some elbow flare. So I figured I'd let my chest contribute a little bit more, because I've been beating the hell out of it for the past few months. Really trying to bring it up. So I think it's maybe it's ready to finally join the party. All right, here's some high bar squats. This is actually my second exercise of the day, after my speed squats, which I'm going to discuss further in a second here. These went okay. The bar was rolling up on my neck a little bit, especially second set, and my hips shooting back. I mean, I'm like previously discussed, my issue is squat morning patterning. So I'm not quite sure how I want to address this. I was doing stiletto squats for a while, and those seem to be fairly effective. These don't look too bad. It is happening a little bit. But it's kind of like, my back's strong enough to kind of deal with it. So I don't know how much I'm really getting out of the high bar squats per se. Like, just standard high bar. Because I'm still doing the same squat morning thing. It is fairly annoying. It's not terrible, but it's there. All right. Here's some deficit to deadlifts. Once again, these went okay. I'm not a huge fan of my back rounding off the floor. I mean, like my back rounds on everything. It doesn't overly round. It just kind of like, I set up neutral, it snaps into position, which is like a little bit more rounded than neutral, and then I don't round further. So what I think that means is I just have to start in a more rounded position, like I'm kind of doing here with the deficit deadlift. Yeah, there you go. It was hard. It wasn't too bad. I don't know. I'm a grinder on the deadlift. I'm not fast with it at all. None of my lifts really. Squat, I'm fairly fast, but all right. So actually, let's see. I have some notes here. Speed work. I'm not doing speed work for rate of force development. I'm doing it for technique work. And focusing on snapping into the bar, like that's specific and transferable. Is knowing how to apply force into the bar from the proper position. Like here, I'm doing a lot better job of pre-hinging. It's hard because I sped up the video, but my technique is looking better here. More times, more sets means more times to practice your setup. So I'm doing 8 sets here, right? So I get a lot of practice getting set up, getting my pre-hinge going, getting my elbows down. Those are my two like main things besides the squat morning stuff. And the low rest times as well are helping me to build conditioning. But it's interesting where everyone will think you're a moron for doing speed work, and then they'll do sub-max technique work. It's the same thing. I don't really buy the whole rate of force development thing. That's not to say I don't think that's a trainable quality. I do think that's a trainable quality. I don't think it applies to maximum weights. From what I've learned. I don't have enough experience with it to say definitively that that's not what's happening, but it doesn't seem like it's two different things, right? Like I'm just as good of a jumper as I was when I was not squatting, and now that I'm squatting at least in the high threes. I haven't gotten better at jumping, so I don't think there is the same skill where like being explosive doesn't necessarily transfer over to maximum strength and vice versa. But that being said, I think speed work's a good idea to do because it's a lot of practice and it's not super fatiguing. You can keep your rest times low, build up your conditioning. Here I'm just resting for a minute, which is not even that much. Or, it's like that's fairly long. I could have gone a little bit faster with it. But yeah, and I put plates on the ground, like little 5-pound plates, so that I can count how many sets I'm doing because I'm too much of a moron to count to 8. So hey, it's happened to you. I guarantee you've forgotten how many sets you're doing. So I take 8 plates and then I put back one at a time, and then when I put all the plates back, I'm done. Like here. All right, so that's it for training. This is the album I was listening to over the week. I enjoyed it. It's like a dance record almost. It's really just fun and groovy. And I was listening on the way to the gym like on Monday, and I couldn't help but smile. Obviously it's loud, but it's fun. Cool. That's about it. I've got my email set up here. I'm looking to coach a couple, 2 to 3 people just for free. Because my goal here are to coach. So, and I'm working on building my own system. So the caveat here with the free coaching is, we're both going to be experimenting here and learning new stuff together. So, I'm a certified personal trainer. I'm completely self-coached. Not that I'm the strongest guy in the world, but I have, at least a basic idea of what's going on. I coach people in person. So yeah, just, looking to build some experience. So if that's interesting, there's my email. And yeah, right on.